The young nun walked to the window, slowly loosening her clothes. Then she pushed the window wide open, letting the cold rain pour down on her body, because the dean turned down her love in anger. Ellie grew a dark thought inside. She ran to the rooftop and sawed off the railing, then went back inside and burned the letters from the dean. The next day, she came to the rooftop early. As soon as the dean appeared, she pretended to be sad and begged for a hug. When the dean did not know how to comfort her, she suddenly turned her position and shoved the dean down hard. The next day, an older nun rushed in to wake her, speaking the news that the dean had passed away. Ellie pretended to cry and threw herself into her arms. She even fell to the floor to make it look real, as the dean's coffin was carried away. The new dean soon arrived at the convent, but Ellie still could not escape punishment. The dean told her someone would take her away tomorrow. Ellie had no idea where she would be sent, so she stuffed everything useful into her luggage. With fear, she was put into the car. She asked the gardener she knew well, but only got a disappointing reply. As the car drove past a field, she saw the people she had killed, one by one appearing in the grass by the road. When she woke again, she was at a manor. The butler led her into a room, told her to pull the cord by the bed if she needed anything, then left without answering her questions. She had never been outside before, and was curious about everything in the room. Until that afternoon, she was called to the living room, and finally learned why she was brought here. The dead dean turned out to be the daughter of the manor owner. Facing the owner's questions, Ellie gained trust with just a few tears. The owner also said the dean had left her an inheritance. As long as she kept the identity of a nun, she would get $100,000 each year. This sudden fortune made her lose her mind. She even began to regret killing the dean. That night before sleep, she suddenly heard strange cries from the rooftop. She remembered the maid's warning that day. She was curious but did not dare to act. Until one evening after dinner, when she walked with the driver, a man from the top shouted for the driver to help. Ellie took the chance and followed. The man saw her and told her to stay back, but she could not hold back her curiosity. It turned out a deformed madman was locked upstairs. He was raging for some unknown reason. Ellie reached out to calm him. To her surprise, he really quieted down. He even touched Ellie on his own. The news quickly reached the owner. The madman was her son, locked upstairs for being deformed and slow. At that very moment, a crazy thought came into Ellie's mind. To test if the idea would work, she lifted her skirt while telling the prince a story. But that move almost put her in danger, because the prince's mind stayed at age 3. He needed her by his side all the time. If he could not see her, he would go crazy. This made the driver very upset. A week ago, Ellie had promised to marry him. Now she spent all her time with a fool, but he was only a driver, so he dared not speak his anger. Though the prince was slow, his mother spent big money every week to hire village women to teach him adult things. And this time, Ellie happened to see it, so she thought of taking control of the manor. The next day, she secretly went to the village and found the woman who had taught the prince. The woman at first refused to talk, but when Ellie pulled out a bag of money, she immediately told her everything she knew. The prince was grown in age, but knew nothing of men and women. He even hated those lessons. On the way back, Ellie was planning her next step, but she ran into the butler, so she rode the butler's horse back to the manor. As soon as she got off, he asked when she would marry. Ellie was shocked. The butler explained the driver had spread the news. She angrily went to question the driver, but the driver was tired of her false love. He only wanted an answer: would she marry him? Ellie refused without hesitation, because from the start she had only used him. Back at the manor, while telling the prince a story, she slowly lifted her skirt. When the prince reacted, she shouted for help right away. The workers spread the word. The news soon reached the princess. She never thought her son would ignore so many women. But with one story, Ellie stirred his wild side. That night, the princess secretly came to Ellie, asked if she would be her daughter-in-law. Ellie agreed without hesitation. And the princess did not know. It was all part of Ellie's plan.